Let's go. Oh, no. I thought I was going to get another piece of salmon tonight, and my girlfriend just said, I'm going to have the last piece of salmon. How can I start this live stream? I had like a full monologue about Marcus Freeman, and I just got the word that I'm not going to get the last piece of slamming salmon. What's up with that? We say hi to Mick, John, Anonymous, Kyle, Cody. Obviously, Marcus Freeman is the big story. Shay Dixon just reported that Marcus Freeman will be interviewed this week. And today he interviewed with Notre Dame. This has been known that he is being pursued by basically everybody right now. So Marcus Freeman in this case has all the leverage in the world because, quite simply put, he was the best defensive coordinator this year in college football. And, I'm not just saying that just to say it, but specifically, there are plenty of reasons why I actually do believe that. And let's be honest, you saw it against Georgia. That defense was pretty freaking gross against an offense that has an NFL wide receiver, a 6'7" tight end, and JT Daniels, who was the third best quarterback in the SEC. So, it's one of those things. I am all in on Marcus Freeman. I do believe in the hype. I buy into the hype, but there is one big caveat to it. I think Ed Orgeron should let Marcus Freeman do his own thing. As in, let's not be married to the idea that we have to have a four-man front, that we have to have three linebackers or any certain front or anything of that matter. If you actually watch Marcus Freeman's defense, he is very Dave Aranda-esque in that he gives you a lot of different looks pre-snap. And one of the things that was pointed out to me by a friend of mine who's an offensive coordinator at a huge high school, LSU's defense is pretty easy to figure out pre-snap, which is part of the reason why we were picked apart. And I understand we're a four-man front team. Well, the bottom line is you cannot give up 7 yards per play in 8 out of your 10 games. That is such a horrible number. So LSU has got to do better in that department. So obviously the breaking news that just happened was DeVonta Smith winning the Heisman. We already got Bama trolls like Tristan coming into the live stream, letting us know that he is from Amite, Louisiana. And the bottom line is that you should be happy for him. This was a guy who wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest. He just said it in his Heisman speech in and of itself that he is not the guy that you would expect to win the Heisman Trophy. In fact, remember last year, we were talking about the NFL draft status of all four of those receivers. Well, if Jalen Waddle never gets hurt, DeVonta Smith is probably drafted lower than Ruggs, Judy, or Waddle this year. And at the next level, I would still prefer Jalen Waddle over DeVonta Smith, but they're both excellent players in completely different ways. So, it's just one of those things. I know a lot of you have some deep-seated hatred for DeVonta Smith. My response to that, just let it go. Just let it go. Some kids from Louisiana want to go to a different school. All the power to them. And honestly, it's a bigger risk to go out of state than to stay home and play for the home state Tigers, because you do hear that from fans. How can you betray Louisiana? So DeVonta Smith took a leap of faith in going to Alabama, competing against guys that, are the best at what they do. And I support him as a player, even though he plays for the arch nemesis. All the power to him. So we say hi to CB. We were talking in the comment section a little bit earlier. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Nick says, what's up, Brock? Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. You know what's funny? I know this sounds cheesy, but I learn new things every day from your comments. That's one of my favorite things. The supportive comments are the absolute best, but I also like comments that challenge me. I got the craziest comment earlier today, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit later in the live stream. Someone called me a nerd in a way. So if you want to see that later, just let me know. What's up, James? Exactly, Kane. You can't. It's kind of hard to hate someone that doesn't really talk trash. That's just a quiet dude that does things the right way, you know. And on top of that, if you're actually a fan of football, something else that is pretty historic about this is that, well, this was a wide receiver that won the award, and his numbers were so good, it's kind of hard to argue against it. So I just pinned my Venmo and Cash App, and if you want to donate, go right on ahead to the channel. I know I've been promoting this, but Booger goes in for her big appointment, and as some of you know, Boog the dog is our official mascot, she is my reason for really pushing hard. My Boog and my girlfriend and my parents and whatever. I sound like I'm giving a Heisman speech. But she does go in for her year-long appointment. It's kind of scary if you're a dog owner. When, dogs get about 13, 14 years old, you never know what the vet's going to tell you. And she has bad kidneys. So, another round of kidney medicine's coming up, and your donations definitely help that out, and just helps me out personally with groceries and living. And obviously, Arik, some of you guys just watch to see Boog. So as you know, we never just do Booger at the top. You will see Boog a little bit later in the live stream. Yeah, but we can't just give it. We can't just give. Okay. Well, I gotta go get her outside. Oh, she's outside? Oh God. Yeah. Why? Because she's bad. But you gotta say, Boog is feisty. All right. For her age, she can be a tough one to deal with sometimes. Now I know. Oh shit. Arik wants to see Boog like right now, but Arik, come on. I mean, it's way too early in the live stream for Boog the dog. But if you do drop a $200 super chat, we will sprint out there right now, and I will hold Boog the rest of the live stream. So there's 68 people watching. We need a thumbs up check. Everyone hit the thumbs up button. Thank you for your support. Like and subscribe. Hey, look, 3,000 subscriber. Look what you're getting. Boom. Look at this young man. Danielle Hunter rookie card. Who does not want Danielle Hunter's rookie card? Prism rookie card right here. Look at this. And this was actually pretty well centered. So if you want a piece of history, go on ahead and snag this card for yourself. I wish it was a Justin Jefferson rookie card. I tried to get one today. The price got a little too high for me. But I will say, for our rookie auto card, I just bought it. Someone gave me a great deal. A member of the 2019 LSU National Championship team, his autographed rookie card, we will be giving it away when we hit 3,000 subscribers. So please, if you can, like, share, subscribe, get people you think would be interested in this content to subscribe to the channel. I want to talk a little bit before we get into the offensive coordinator hire. It's fascinating to me that, Bug, what are you doing? She's over here being bad. The one thing that really, really ticks me off, okay, and it's starting to really bother me, okay, it's the Arik Gilbert story. And we will get into Jake Peetz, DJ Mangas, my number one candidate, Jeff Grimes, going to Baylor. But this Arik Gilbert nonsense has gotten to be so wild that it's almost to the point where it's not worth the effort anymore. And the reason why I say that is because you should always do not yet. We're going to wait till later. Okay. We're going to wait. Oh, you want to go? Let's go, man. Come on. Everyone say hi, bug. There we go. Everyone say hi, bug. There she is.
She got a big day tomorrow.
She got a big day tomorrow. So your super chats are absolutely important tonight.
Oh, she got into something out there.
Okay, go on and clean her up. We'll show her a little bit later. She ate some mud or something like that. But I want to talk about Arik Gilbert just for a second. All right, and you see everyone goes crazy. Now everyone's going to leave the live stream. They saw a bug, now they're ready. They're like, "Oh my goodness." And our views just went up over 90. But because of Bernie.
Baby, you're so good.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Adam. Carvis. Okay, what's up, Kareem? DB7. Elias. Thanks for your super chat during the last one. I really do appreciate it. So I want you to always remember one thing from this channel. No one player makes a team. And I only want to say this. And I understand, Kane. Some of you are tired of hearing about Arik Gilbert. But it is important because Ed Orgeron, even though Arik Gilbert, he tweeted that he was entering the transfer portal, then he deletes the tweet, then he releases a statement, then this happens, and then this is what's crazy. There were reporters saying, well, he's in the portal, then he's not in the portal, and then it is reported that he is back in the portal. He's officially in the transfer portal, and then, okay, this is what's fascinating. Ed Orgeron is still trying to keep him on the team. What? But this is the problem. The timing of this couldn't be worse. Ed Orgeron is interviewing people, not only for offensive coordinator, not only for defensive coordinator, but for all these different positions. Look, people, we do not even know what the staff is going to look like. We don't. And don't you think all these coaches with the deepest pockets in the world are not calling up Corey Raymond and saying, look, Corey, you're the best defensive backs coach maybe ever in the SEC. He's got a strong case for that title. He is the GOAT of all GOATs when it comes to defensive backs coaching. Don't you think that a Texas, don't you think that a Notre Dame, schools that suck in the secondary, don't you think that they think it's worth a $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 salary just to get Corey Raymond on their staff? Don't you think? Don't you think Corey Raymond's getting calls right now? You would be crazy to think that he's not. This is how this works. One thing we tend to forget is that, oh goodness, we've got to hire our guys. We got to hire guys to fill in our slots. But don't you think our talented guys on the staff already are also getting calls? So it's pretty simple. The Arik Gilbert story. I'm not a big, it's a distraction kind of guy. I'm just not. But this has been going on for months. Albeit for an all-time great talent, an all-time great recruit. You guys know me personally, know that I have begged and pleaded and even asked you to put my videos in front of Arik Gilbert. I would love to come back. He is the most unique, my favorite recruit I've ever seen. There's never been anyone like him at LSU. Never. But it comes to a point where this has been going on for months over what's he going to do? What's he not going to do? He's in the portal, out of the portal. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Okay, if he comes back and turns out to be an excellent player, all the power to him. But Ed Orgeron's sole focus right now should be on these interviews, because what makes this situation unprecedented is not only does LSU need to hire an offensive and defensive coordinator, we don't know the actual identity of the team going into next year. And what do I mean by that? Well, not all offensive coordinators are the same. Not everybody just when you say someone runs the spread, doesn't mean that everybody runs the spread. For instance, Gus Malzahn's spread is different than what Joe Brady does as a spread offense, different than what Art Briles does with the spread offense, different than what Hugh Freeze does with the spread offense. They run at different paces with different personnel groupings. So the identity of the team is not yet even defined on either side of the football. And we're worrying about one guy. And from what I've been told, LSU has not pulled Arik Gilbert's financial aid. And I'm not the only one that has reported this. 247 reported this. So that means that LSU is still holding on hope that he's going to come back. And I would love him to come back. My major point has little to do with Arik Gilbert, but more to do with that Orgeron. His 100,000% focus should not be on one player. Now, I would understand if this one player was Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, an all-time great talent at quarterback, but it's not. So, it is what it is. So, I want to ask you this question. One thing that you might have to do, because look, I know someone joked around and some of you guys sent this to me. There was a guy who commented on one of my videos. I think it was an older video that Corey Raymond's going to go to Texas. Okay. It's not going to happen. I doubt Corey Raymond ever leaves LSU. What better defensive back's job is there? But if Texas, which, as you know, has the deepest of deepest pockets when it comes to athletics, if they offered Corey Raymond $1 million just to be a defensive backs coach, how could he not take that job? I mean, $1 million? Are you kidding? To just coach defensive backs? Some people would think about it. I want you to remember this, okay? What's really fascinating about defensive backs is that there's not a whole lot of good ones. There's just not. Every school in the SEC, and I really do mean this, every school in the SEC has talented receivers. Every single one. Arkansas's got 2 that are going to the NFL. Ole Miss has 1 that I know will be a superstar in the NFL. Jerry and Ely is the real deal. Florida's got 2. Everybody's got receivers. Everybody's got 1 or 2 backs that could make it to the league. But how many schools actually have players that play in the secondary at the NFL? Well, occasionally they'll have one. For instance, Mississippi State, Cameron Dantzler was a great corner. But more often than not, they come from the elite schools. They just do. So the one guy that could get you those elite defensive backs is Corey Raymond. They're going to go where he's going to go because he's DBU. LSU is DBU. But he's a big reason why LSU is DBU. And I'm a huge Corey Raymond guy. So on to the offensive coordinator. How many of you, okay, and I want you to be honest. How many of you would feel great about a DJ Mangas, Jake Peetz offense? Who would want that as their offensive brains? Type Y for yes if you want Mangas and Peetz. Type N for no. Okay? Let me know. Okay? And while you do that, hit the thumbs up button. We're over 100. A lot of you are saying, why? D for the Ville's the only one that's not on the Mangas Peetz train. By the way, I like unique last names. I don't know one Mangas or one Peetz. Babe, have you ever met a Mangas or a Peetz? She has her headphones in. Why? Darian says no. I am the answer. Okay. I am the answer is your YouTube name, and you give me an M for maybe. Sure. Kyle, I hate it when people answer sure, okay? Especially for something as important as this. Whenever anyone has ever answer the question? Sure. It's always like a half-hearted yes. I need a strong why or a strong in for no. DBU7, are you kidding me? Who else are you going to get? Do you know how many people would want to be the offensive coordinator at LSU? There's a lot of really good offensive coordinators that would leave their job to be the offensive coordinator at LSU. You kidding me? That there's not some offensive coordinator out there that would leave their team just to coach Kayshon Boutte, to coach Coy Moore? Those two guys are better receivers than 90% of the college football receivers that are out there. So Heath gives some specifics here. Brady thinkers, progressive, young, the exact opposite of what it has been. If we get them for OC and Freeman for DC, I think we could compete for a natty next year. Lewis. You know what's funny? A lot of people would say, no, it's the first year. But do you know how many times LSU has won national championships with first-year offensive coordinators? All three of them. Okay? I believe that's right. I think 2011... I think 2007 was Coach Stud's first year calling the plays, I think. And then 2003, it was Gary Crowton. I'm trying to remember, but I do believe that's true. And then obviously last year, it wasn't Ensminger's first year, but it was Brady's first year. So here's a problem with the Mangas Peetz thing. Kane and I know each other pretty well now. Neither one of them have been a Power 5 offensive coordinator. Neither one of them. Okay? DJ Mangas has never called plays at a Power 5 level. Jake Peetz has never called plays at a Power 5 or NFL level. Now, he would have been the offensive coordinator had Josh McDaniels taken the head coaching job, but even then, Jake Peetz would not have called the plays, right? So he says neither has Brady, but that's the funny thing, okay? If you watch the offensive coordinator piece, you would know this, okay? Joe Brady didn't call the plays. Steve Ensminger did. Now, Joe Brady had a heavy influence on the plays. They sat next to each other, and DJ Mangas sat next to Brady in the booth, but what I was told is over 70% of the times it was Ensminger's decision over what play to run. Now, they had a game plan, but this is different than Joe Brady stepping in with Steve Ensminger. Okay? The reason why that worked so well, number one, Steve Ensminger was a play-calling veteran with Ed Orgeron, and number two, Steve Ensminger is the most humble guy you'll ever meet. He is a team-first guy. So he conceded to Joe Brady when Joe had an idea over what play to run. But even then, Ensminger called the plays. So this is different, okay? You don't have Steve Ensminger in the booth anymore. So Jake Peetz and DJ Mangas are walking into something completely new. And then when those two guys come in, what are you going to do with Russ Callaway? What if those two guys came in and they had a higher title and they had more power than Russ Callaway, who, by the way, has super strong relationships with Max Johnson and Miles Brennan? I just don't know how well all of that would mesh. And on top of that, what really throws a curveball into this equation, you can't really think in terms of how does this guy work with this guy. The Joe Brady thing was super duper great, and it was random. But the monkey wrench in all of this is that Joe Brady himself is interviewing for NFL head coaching jobs, okay? So what does that mean? Well, Joe Brady, according to league sources, I had a league source tell me this. It was an NFL scout I met in a press box that I still talk to this day. And Peter King reported this. Peter King is the most well-connected NFL reporter to ever walk the face of the earth. Peter King reported this, that Joe Brady is the next Sean McVay, okay? So there are 6 head coaching job opportunities, And the first name we hear that is officially interviewed from the official Twitter account of the Houston Texans is none other than Joe Brady. So, if you're DJ Mangas and if you're Jake Peetz or Pets, I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's just go with Jake Peetz. If you're those two guys, would you rather go to LSU, which is viewed by a lot of people in the coaching industry as very hostile right now, very volatile with how the team looked last year and what is going on off the field? Don't hammer the messenger. That is just how it's perceived by some. Or would you rather stay with Joe Brady in the NFL and take the offensive coordinator job with the Houston Texans if Joe Brady is hired? Because who's Joe Brady going to hire for his offensive coordinator? The guys he recommended to Ed Orgeron to be interviewed, right? So now, Jake Peetz and DJ Mangas, who got interviewed today, was throwing that monkey wrench into the interview. And what if Joe Brady does decide to go to a different NFL job? Well, Jake Peetz would say, well, I wonder if Matt Rule would name me the offensive coordinator. So it's very fascinating. Yeah, they're both at Carolina right now. So let's go to Elias with our first super chat of the night. Everybody, round of applause for Elias. I'm fired up tonight. Okay, this is a very interesting time. I like juicy topics to talk about. I love my dear beloved LSU Tigers, but by God, I'm nervous. I am very nervous right now. So you guys hanging out with me is as important as I am, hopefully, to you. Because look, there's 141 of you that are probably just a little bit nervous too. Elias, thank you. $10 for Boog. We'll get her back down here in just a second. What do you think the chances are for landing Freeman? I am unusually confident. You know, it's honestly a coin flip. Probably a little worse odds in a coin flip. Here's the problem with someone like him is that Marcus Freeman is a very confident guy. And he's so confident that he already thinks of himself as a head coach. And rightfully so. Because Luke Fickell, probably the number one reason why Cincinnati was great this year, well, it's because their defense was incredible. They averaged less than 5 yards per play with an offense that played at a pretty decent pace. So, Josh, thank you for the Venmo. What would you like to talk about, Josh? So to finish answering Elias, it's going to be tough because no matter what we know from Marcus Freeman is that he wants to be a head coach. For him to put it out there as public as that, he's going to take any opportunity that will get him to being a head coach faster. Maybe that's staying at Cincinnati and having another dominant year with the Bearcats. Maybe that's taking the defensive coordinator job at Texas. Maybe that's taking the defensive coordinator job at Notre Dame, where it's a little bit easier to win than in the SEC. Maybe LSU is not that. So, let's be honest. LSU's not a dream job location. That's why there's a huge benefit in hiring a guy, even though he's never called plays, a guy like a Carl Dunbar, who he views LSU as his dream job. He's from Opelousas, Louisiana. So, that's also an issue. So we'll see what happens. Oh, God. Kane and DBU7 are going at it. I don't care. If I had DBU7's body, I'd be showing it off too, but I don't have that body. Tell that to Aranda and Brady. You think Roy's going to push Farrell or Logan for a starting spot by the end of the year? Josh, thank you for your donation. Hopefully, first thing, Elias, I answered your question. So I would put it at a 25% chance that Freeman does go. I do think if you get him, I don't mind paying him more than you would pay a good offensive coordinator. Even though offense is more important than defense nowadays, I really do think Freeman's really that good. Let's see. DBU7 and Kane, stop. Both stop. CZ Beasley with the biscuit. So, that's a good question, Josh. I like it when someone Venmos or super chats me and they want to talk defensive tackle play, my favorite position to talk about. So, here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought this up because Kane actually brought this up in a comment section. DBU7, I think that they can, but it's going to be tough. It's really tough because Freeman's also a big time family guy. His wife is flying down to Baton Rouge, so she's going to play a big role in this decision as well. It's funny, and this is kind of a side note, and we'll get into the defensive tackle talk. I'm only pointing this out. Wives could oftentimes determine where you go, especially if you have kids. The most famous example of this was Doc Rivers. Okay. And this is a crazy story, but Doc Rivers would have gotten Grant Hill and Tim Duncan to go to the Orlando Magic if Tim Duncan's wife would have gone along with it. But she hated Orlando. She hated Doc Rivers. She wanted to be able to fly on the team plane, and she said no. And that's what prevented Tim Duncan from potentially joining Grant Hill with the Orlando Magic. Happy wife, happy life. So, it's going to be interesting that she's flying down as well, and she's obviously a big part of his life as well. So it's very interesting. So let's talk about let's talk about defensive tackle play, because that's what Josh wanted to point out. Who do y'all think was Here's the first question. So out of Neil Farrell, Glenn Logan, and Jaquelin Roy, which one of those three was LSU's best defensive tackle this year? Okay. Which one of those three? Okay. Was it Roy? You see DBU7? I'm not making that up. That is so wild. That is so wild. Could you imagine Tim Duncan, Tracy McGrady, and Grant Hill in the Eastern Conference with LeBron down the... Oh, that's crazy. All right, so Nick says Roy, Farrell, Neil, Roy, Neil, Roy. Marcellus says Farrell, Roy, Neil, Roy. Okay. A lot of you like Jaquelin Roy because he was a true freshman, and we tend to have bias towards true freshmen that come in and play a lot because, their allure from recruiting just carries over into that first year. Here's a problem with my question. Who was the best player, Jaquelin Roy, Neil Farrell, or Glenn Logan? And Movie says Mason Smith. The problem is the answer is none of them, because which one of the three separated themselves from the pack? Okay. I would say Neil Farrell was the best. Remember, Glenn Logan missed the first couple of games. I don't know exactly why. It wasn't pandemic reasons because he was on the sideline for the Mississippi State game. I don't know what it was. But Jaquelin Roy's a true freshman, but it goes without saying that Neil Farrell and Glenn Logan, who both had great 2019 seasons where they're rotating in with Braden Fiocco and Rashard Lawrence, they weren't as good in the 4-3 as they were the 3-4. Some of it is conditioning because it is more exhausting playing in a 4-3 than a 3-4. Some of it is the new scheme. I thought at times they looked a little out of shape. So those two guys this is put up or shut up time. If you want to get paid, this is your time to shine. And the thing is, Kane brought this up. There is a good and a bad thing with returning that many starters. The good thing is that obviously it helps your depth. And obviously, as we pointed out on this channel, returning starters is a huge indicator for how good your team is going to be the next year. The bad part of it, well, how good are those guys that are coming back? Because I'll tell you this, Glenn Logan and Neil Farrell, from a true, honest evaluation, love both of them. They've been great Tigers. They were replaceable talents this year. they just didn't take the step forward that we thought that they would take, going from a national championship team to the next thing. So, we'll see. Farrell played well down the stretch. He did play better. Joseph Evans also had some flashes. And honestly, we could talk about scheme. Joseph Evans was playing a completely different position. So the bottom line is, yes, I'm happy they're returning. And yes, returning starters not going to the NFL draft is the biggest indicator for how good your team is going to be next year. Oftentimes, it has a heavy correlation. If you look at the history of LSU football, their national championship seasons, all years that they went to the national championship game, LSU had 6 or fewer draft picks from the year before. So what does that mean? Well, LSU on average since 2003 has averaged more than 6 NFL draft picks a year. So that means the 4 years we lost fewer NFL draft picks, which also means that returning starters are really good. But here's the monkey wrench into this equation. How many of the guys that are coming back would have been NFL draft picks if they decided to go? I don't think Neil Farrell gets drafted. I don't think Glenn Logan gets drafted. Andre Anthony and Ali Gay probably get drafted. So there's 2 returning starters that are coming back that would get drafted. Jason Hines definitely wouldn't get drafted. Liam Shanahan, no, he wouldn't get drafted. Ed Ingram definitely would get drafted based on potential. So of those 7 big names, 3 of them would have for certain been draft picks. So, it's one of those things where, yes, it is true that returning draft picks are huge indicators and returning starters are very good things, especially in a year where you lost 30 overall coaches and players from the year before. But are they going to take that next step? Are they going to get in shape? Are they going to learn the intricacies of playing a 4-3? And I understand. I'm being critical of them. Rightfully so. Because Neil Farrell and Glenn Logan both have huge potential. They just didn't show it really all that much this past year. Let's go to Adam. Thanks for your super chat, man. Okay, Rajon came out and said LSU moves back to the top of the list if we hire Freeman. Interesting. I don't see how Coach O can let Freeman walk out of BR without a deal, knowing Rajon could follow. Okay, good point, Adam. And, actually, we had an Ohio State fan jump in my comment sections. He was a really nice guy, and he was talking about Rajon Davis. There is an allure for playing for a guy like Marcus Freeman, especially, he moves his linebackers around a lot. You cover, sometimes you pass rush, sometimes you blitz, which is obviously very sexy for a 5-star or a high-level 4-star like Rajon Davis. Well, here's the thing. I don't know Marcus Freeman personally. I've never interviewed him. I don't, and this is kind of rare. I don't know anyone that knows him well. I just don't. Maybe when he comes in to be interviewed, he doesn't mesh well with Orgeron. Maybe the 4-3-3-4 thing, maybe that doesn't work out. Maybe he's not a good fit with Ed Orgeron, who, has said he wants to run a 4-man front. Maybe that rubs Marcus Freeman the wrong way because, look, he could go anywhere he wants. And let me tell you what. Do you think if Steve Sarkisian wanted to get Marcus Freeman to Texas, that Steve Sarkisian would input on what his defense was going to do? Heavens no. Steve Sarkisian would get the heck out of the way. So one thing, if you are Marcus Freeman and you said that you want to be a head coach somewhere and he is well qualified to do so, well, if you take another defensive coordinator job, he's going to want pure autonomy of the defense, okay? He's going to want to have every final say of every play, and rightfully so. So maybe that doesn't work itself out if their personalities don't mesh, because sometimes they don't. And let's be fair. We have seen multiple coordinators at LSU. Their personalities, and this is more common than you probably think, their personalities just don't mesh. Matt Canada and Ed Orgeron, personalities, it just never worked. Never worked. Dave Aranda at the end with Ed Orgeron. Didn't work. Personalities. Dave's a super quiet guy. Ed Orgeron obviously is the exact opposite of that. And you're right, James. He is multiple. But my point is, it doesn't matter what kind of defense he runs. If Ed Orgeron wants to have a say in how the defense is going to be run, Marcus Freeman's not going to come. He's just not going to come. Because, once again, when you are hiring the consensus number one defensive coordinator on the market, okay, Barry Odom's out. Barry Odom was getting interviewed by everyone. He's staying at home in Arkansas. Like I said, Barry Odom, I said this before the chat, he loves NWA. He loves Northwest Arkansas. I should clarify that, because unless you're from Arkansas, you don't know what NWA, you think that Barry Odom's like, a huge NWA. And I don't, Barry Odom might like Easy. I don't know, but still, he wanted to stay in Northwest Arkansas. So the thing, we'll see. We'll see. And, here's my thing. I think Ed Orgeron should just let him do what he wants to do. Don't get in his way. Just let him do what he wants to do. If he, I know I've hyped him up, but if you ever watch Cincinnati's defense, even on the game-winning field goal drive, Cincinnati had an opportunity to intercept the pass to win the game. The blitz he showed, you got to go back and watch it. It was the last throw. They crowded the line of scrimmage, and on the game-winning play, they brought a corner blitz. It was filthy. And look, I consider myself a pretty sharp eye in trying to figure out where pressure's going to come from. I've never seen anything disguised this well in crunch time. So this dude is a real deal. He really is. I want the Saints defensive line guy. Marcus, I missed you in the last live chat. Welcome. Sean, welcome. Antonio, Mo Funky, Heath, Devin, welcome. Everyone say hi to Marcus, big part of the channel here. So, and Marcus is like the guy that actually put me on to Carl Dunbar as being a potential. I would love to get Carl Dunbar on the staff. Obviously, he's really busy right now. But, goodness, he's been everywhere. And he's been really good everywhere. So, yeah, we'll see. Week 17 was profitable. I like that. Yeah, so Ryan Nielsen, never called plays, defense. What I've been told from people that I trust in the industry is that he wants to stay in the NFL. I think a defensive coordinatorship would be something that would interest him. But, that's steep. I cannot say this enough. And Joe Brady deserves a good chunk of the credit for 2019. But let's be honest. It was a lot easier for him to have Steve Ensminger there. And to have someone that gave you a lot of say, but also took some of the responsibility away from a 29-year-old dude coming into running a multi-million-dollar program, it was the perfect balance, and it's hard. So we'll see. Exactly, Michael. So it comes to, and here's the thing, a 4-3 can work. Oh, what's up, Marcus? The $100 super chat. Had Bucks, Titans, Seahawks, Saints, Chargers. Lost a bit on the Cowboys and the Dolphins second half. Yeah, I've learned this. Just bet Buffalo against it. The Buffalo Bills. Have you guys seen these guys? Trey White. I know we talk about the Honey Badger, and it's probably been his best year ever. And I know we talk a lot about Patrick Peterson because, I'm a Patrick Peterson stan. He's my favorite LSU defensive back ever. But goodness, Trey White is that dude. He is that dude. How many corners in the NFL are better than Trey White right now? Jalen Ramsey, probably. Jair Alexander, probably. That's even debatable. The only guy that I would take over Trey White right now would be Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey was my highest rated and I do like an NFL drafting. I still think the Cowboys made the wrong decision going with Zeke over Jalen Ramsey. I tweeted it out at the time. I was like, God, Jalen Ramsey is that dude. But, it's one of those things. But anyway, shout out to Marcus. If y'all want, we could talk some NFL later. If you guys want to talk some NFL playoffs later, I've made a few radio appearances this week chatting NFL, so obviously I'm excited. Yeah, Gilmore when he's healthy. James Bradbury, I still think Trey White's better. Stephon Gilmore is better than Trey White, but probably not by much. I would only say, oh yes, Xavier Howard is a monster, and the Dolphins. It's funny that Dolphins defense doesn't have like a lot of superstars, but we never give Xavier Howard his time of day. Marcus just jumped off a plane, listening with the super cool AirPods, drinking a latte. I like that. So Marcus wants to talk coaching hires. So we just talked about Jake Peetz. We just talked about DJ Mangas. We just broke down the ladder of spider webs. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but it is so weird that Joe Brady recommended DJ Mangas and Jake Peetz. They fly to get interviewed by LSU while Joe Brady is being hired by the Houston Texans, and I'm sure Joe Brady is going to get hired by more than just the Houston Texans. Now Peetz and Mangas have decisions to make. What about Joe Moorhead? What about all these other? I'm still, okay. And here's the thing. I'm fine with Peetz and Mangas too if you get a huge offensive coordinator. Because the one thing I failed to mention about Peetz and Mangas, they're affordable, okay? LSU has the leverage there because neither one of them have called plays. But then again, you have Russ Callaway in the building. How does all that going to mesh out? Does one of them become the wide receivers coach, or Joe Brady and Mickey Joseph are both wide receiver coaches? It's a mess. Carl the cat, the biggest LSU fan on the planet. I really do mean that. He legit, when I was in school, went to every sporting event. And Jonathan, I'm not saying that he's going to get the job. My point is that does Peetz and Mangas rather roll with Joe? Because here's the thing. If those are Joe Brady's guys and he gets an NFL job, don't you think Joe Brady's going to want to bring them along? So it's one of those things. What's up, Bruce? Good to see you, man. So Marcus drops $100 super chat. Let's chat coaches. Let's go through a list. How many of you? Okay, let's do this. And this is going to get crazy in the comments section. Any thoughts on the A meet? Oh, yeah. Okay, so we'll go to Mark's sticker real quick. He deserved it. I mean, Kane brought this up earlier. It's kind of hard to hate DeVonta Smith. It sucks that he went to Alabama, but let's be honest. When he went to Alabama, we were still old LSU. We weren't Joe Brady LSU. We weren't Joe Burrow LSU. We weren't Jamar Chase LSU. Okay? He made the right decision for himself. He caught a game-winning national championship pass, and his career got better. Okay? There's nothing better than catching a game-winning national championship pass as a true freshman and then winning the Heisman while playing behind 3 other first-round picks and another first-round pick at quarterback. So, if we take off our LSU glasses, DeVonta Smith obviously made the right decision for himself. That's why I never get mad at kids wherever they decide to go. I just don't. So it is what it is. And as Plum, shout out Lake Charles. He was the best player this year. And I don't think anyone could debate that. I mean, heck, Derek Stingley Jr. wanted no piece of him. And rightfully so. He toasted all of us. What's up, JJ from Shreveport? North Louisiana's in the building. So, yeah, Mark, hopefully that answers your question. It's interesting. And I want to ask you this. Okay, so if Marcus is okay with that, because his $100 super chat is still up, I do want to bring this up. Would you rather at the NFL level, knowing what you know now, okay? And we'll do city shout-outs later. I always shout out Lake Charles, though. Knowing what you know now, okay? Would you rather, as an NFL franchise, DeVonta Smith or Jamar Chase? You had to pick between those two guys, DeVonta Smith, Jamar Chase, for your NFL franchise. Okay? We'll do some city shout-outs in a moment. Okay? Peetz 1.5 milli, DJ. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. Okay. Jay Morsey is our first person that says Smith. We got 3 chases, 4 chases, 5 chases, 6 chases, 7 chases, 8 chases, 9 chases, 10 chases. Our first Smith. I agree with what Marcus just said. Smith. I'd let my QB choose, which is interesting because at number 5, the Bengals, more than likely the Dolphins are going to take the tackle. Yeah, it's true. Jamar is probably the better 50-50 receiver. Ooh, that's actually some, that's actually some truth, some hardcore truth right there from Plum. DeVonta kept playing, but then again, DeVonta wasn't a first-round prospect. If DeVonta Smith was a first-round prospect, don't you think he would have gone to the NFL last year? Probably. But he had 2 other guys that had better draft grades than him. That's a good point too, Marcus. It is kind of a, and I know this is going to go crazy, but it is kind of a Randy Moss, Chris Carter type of dynamic where, Smith is more like Moss and Chase is more like Chris Carter. They're both great, but they're both completely different guys. So, and that's not the most perfect comparison, but that's the first one that just jumps out. And it's weird that we say that because, Jamar is Jamar, and Jamar put together arguably the best wide receiver season we've ever seen, only for DeVonta Smith to best that, even though Jamar's 9 for 221 and 3 TDs, or 2 TDs versus Clemson. It should have been 3. He actually dropped a third, if you remember that, early in the fourth quarter versus Clemson. But still, that's the greatest wide receiver performance I've ever seen. But DeVonta's put up quite a few of those himself, and we'll see. And here's the thing. Ohio State secondary sucks. Shaun Wade is the most overrated corner I've ever seen. So, DeVonta's going to cook him. I'm telling you, last year's Ohio State would have matched up really well this year with Alabama because Ohio State's got 2 corners that could lock down Bama's receivers on the outside. That's the key. And they haven't played a team that has 2 elite corners yet this year, and Ohio State doesn't. Chase reminds you of Michael Irvin. That's actually a pretty good comparison, too. Underrated speed, too. But, this is what I always like. This is what I always like to do. I was like throwing a monkey wrench here because, DeVonta Smith, all-time great college wide receiver. If not the best SEC receiver ever, now that he's won the Heisman. Jamar Chase, best wide receiver season we've seen until DeVonta Smith. But this year, we saw LSU's number 2 wide receiver have the best rookie season ever at the wide receiver position. the best rookie season we have ever seen at wide receiver. And it's not just, NFL stats. We're talking about Pro Football Focus graded our boy Justin Jefferson as the number 2 wide receiver. And look, when we hit 3,000 subscribers, how about another Vikings rookie card, Danielle Hunter? And of course, I just ordered an LSU Prism Auto of one of the members of the 2019 team, and we'll give it out when we hit 3,000 subs. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. You know what's interesting, Marcus? It's weird because you could tell Justin Jefferson puts in a lot of work. He's not one. Randy Moss is like the opposite. Randy Moss seemed like the guy that could just walk onto the field. It never seemed like Randy Moss was truly ever trying, which he was. He just made everything look so easy. But, like Justin, you could just see how much work he puts into the intricacies of route running. It's so fascinating. And it's weird because, part of what made him so great is his connection with Joe Burrow. And of course, we think immediately 3rd and 17, and, that was their best connection ever. But Justin Jefferson was really good in 2018 as well in a bad passing offense, and he was LSU's leading receiver then. So that's what's interesting about his legacy because, the first thing you think when you think Justin Jefferson is the Oklahoma game. And then the next thing you think is obviously 3rd and 17. And then the next thing you think is, him shaking Tanner Muse of Clemson all the way down to his knees. But 2018 was pretty good as well. And so, and that's a good point, Marcus, as well. And I don't just say that because of the super chat. Against Ole Miss, I saw Trey Palmer run a very Jamarcus-esque type of route. I think it was LSU's first drive against Ole Miss, and it was an option route. And, doing film X's and O's in a format like this isn't the absolute best. But basically, the concept is the wide receiver will go where he sees fit, and then the quarterback will throw to the open space. And Trey Palmer ran his best route of his career against Ole Miss, but Max Johnson thought Trey Palmer was going to sit in the window of the zone, or that he was just going to sit there as man coverage, and he threw it behind him. But you see, if they had the cohesion and the connection, Trey Palmer would have caught it. He's LSU's fastest receiver. He would have walked into the end zone. So it's so fascinating that you bring up the connection, because one of the things that made Joe Brady so great, one of the things that made Joe Burrow so great, and one of the things that made the LSU offense so great is what makes a lot of stand-up comedians great. They trim the fat. And what I mean by that is LSU in 2019, one of the major things that made them so special is they had a set group of players. Those set group of players played. It wasn't really until Terrace Marshall got injured. We saw Derek Dillon and we saw Stephon Sullivan play more. Will LSU this offseason trim the fat? And when you trim the fat, it gives you the opportunity for the starting wide receivers to work with the starting quarterback, which is another problem because we don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be next year. So, it's wild. And, oh, Heath, that's fine, man. That's cool. Just hang out. Just share it. Subscribe. We got 160 people in here right now. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Hit them with the muscle relaxer. I like that. Hit the like button. Thank you, Debbie in Texas. I appreciate that. Let's see. We welcome in Trey. We'll get Boog back on here, Trey, for your daughter in just a moment. Let's see. And as Marcus points out, it takes a lot of reps. Like, This is interesting as well. So, the Joe Brady story about putting in 100 catches a day. Well, in the Tom Rinaldi piece, and how does ESPN let Tom Rinaldi walk? Okay, I get letting Dan walk because Dan was always going to do his own thing, Dan Le Batard. But you can't let Tom Rinaldi walk. What is College Game Day going to be without Rinaldi? Anyway, but Tom Rinaldi did a very good interview with DeVonta Smith, and it's really good. But DeVonta Smith in the interview revealed something I didn't know. He catches, I think they said, 100 balls at the end of every practice. It was either 10 or 100. I think it's 100. And he catches it out of the little jug machine. Those reps matter so daggone much. And obviously, we can get into the stories about Kobe Bryant and his work ethic and whatnot. But, DeVonta puts in the work. Will LSU's offense put in the work? And to get that cohesion and the reps and all that, how much work do you want to put into it? And it really does matter. It really does matter. The summer of 10,000 catches. That's it. All right, we're an hour in. In just a moment, we're going to what do you guys want to talk about? We're an hour in. We discussed offensive coordinator. We discussed defensive coordinator. We talked about Arik Gilbert and that fiasco, how much, I love him. I don't mind a little player drama, but the timing of it is very important. And this is the absolute worst timing when Ed Orgeron is trying to figure out who's going to lead us. What are you putting it on? What are you doing, tuna steaks now?
Huh?
You doing a tuna steak now?
Yeah.
I thought you weren't doing the... No, you can eat the salmon. I was joking.
No, I already got it thawed out.
But I'm not getting a tuna steak?
You got salmon. Make your mind up, player.
I'll let you have the salmon and I have the tuna steak.
The tuna steak is small, and I know you eat big. I don't eat as much as you do.
That's true. Oh, God.
That will not fill you up, baby. It's you put the littlest one. It's the size of a playing card.
Let me see it.
It's freaking small, bro.
Let me see it. Y'all want to see the tuna steak? I think... See, normally I eat 2 tuna steaks, and she only eats 1 because she's skinny and beautiful. This is the tuna steak. This is it packaged in right here. Look at that. And these things are fire if you season them right. Okay, so you got to let it de-thaw. I want the tuna steak. You can have the salmon.
Bubba, you're not. I'm having it.
Okay, you can have it.
Who's cooking it?
You are.
Okay, then
it's yours.
Don't even worry about it.
DBU7 says salmon for me. I'll go salmon. I'm fine with saying your salmon's fire too.
Okay, then what you bitching for?
I'm not. I just, whenever we do tuna steaks and you have a tuna steak and I don't have a tuna steak.
But babe, you have a fish and gumbo. You have a combo.
Oh yeah, we got the gumbo left. Okay. Well then if I had the okay.
Now tell me now for a
No, it's yours. I know, Debbie. But I do have some leftover mom's gumbo in there. So this could be risky business though if you go gumbo with salmon. Okay, Mikey wants to talk surprise players for next season. Okay. So before we do that, okay, looks like red candy corn. Y'all got to understand. I'm going to show you the finished product of this tuna steak. What are you seasoning it with tonight? She can't hear me. She got those AirPods in. She's got those Marcus AirPods in. And you see, I don't like tuna. I don't. I hate seeing tuna. But I never knew about the ahi. It's the ahi tuna steaks. Eric's like the biggest Brian Thomas Jr. fan to walk the face of the earth. I think Devin is too. There's a lot of BTJ fans out there. Let's see. Dare coming back. That's a good question. I think he should. I don't think he'd get drafted. I really don't. You're right, Kyle. It's a dangerous combo. Salmon. But I eat like a monster. Eric thinks Nuss and BTJ are going to be Burrow and Jefferson next year. I like that. Devin says, who are the last 3 recruits you think will get before February? It's a good question. Obviously, like Moko, the offensive JUCO transfer from Australia. That would be great. Also, Eric Wilson, the Harvard transfer. But this is where it gets interesting. Do you say no to Rajon Davis? Okay. Do you say no to Brian Thomas Jr.? What do? Do you say no to them?
Smell it.
Ooh,
Smell it.
what kind of season? Ooh, what is that? Let's see what we got here.
Oh.
You can't really see it because of the light. What kind of season? Oh, I'll just read it off.
Don't spill it.
I'm not. It's filled to the brim. Tangy mustard, Carolina barbecue seasoning.
Doesn't that smell great?
Ooh, that smells rich.
You don't get a bite either, player.
Ooh, that smells rich. Savion has not signed his papers. So here's the thing. You got these 3 slots, okay? What if those 3 slots only go to recruits? How many of you would rather a JUCO offensive lineman? But here's the thing. If Ed Orgeron says offensive line players are key, okay? So if your offensive line's key and you only have 3 slots remaining, well, Savion Jones is going to get 1, right? So we'll see. Savion, Thomas, and an offensive line. Bruce says Rajon Davis is a must-get. Sean Salisbury? Good question, Dwayne, because I don't know who that is. LSU versus UCLA would be a good game. I got super chatted to give my prediction on that game, and I was like, I don't know who's going to be who. Jones is not signed yet. Jones has not signed yet. Jones is not. 20 players have signed their letter of intent. So in theory, LSU has 2 players that have committed. So that's 22, which means you got 3 slots left. I think he does go to USC, Eric. I agree, dude. That's a good point, Marcus. How important is getting a JUCO offensive lineman if the same guys come back? Here's my thing. I want the LSU offensive line to look different next year. And I kind of feel the same way about the defensive linemen that are coming back. Okay, returning starters is a loose term because if those returning starters are still replaceable level players, let's be honest. This would be my dream offensive line for next season. I would like Dale Rosenthal back. I would like him back at left tackle. That's obviously the most difficult position to play. Ed Ingram, if he's fully healthy, he should be the starter from start to finish next year at left guard. And then Liam Shanahan the same way at center. Now, Liam Shanahan early in the year was replaceable, but Liam Shanahan versus Bama, Liam Shanahan versus Florida, Liam Shanahan versus Ole Miss was a lot better. At right guard, remember, Jason Hines wasn't in at the last game versus Ole Miss, and he wasn't in the critical moments against Florida. At right guard, I would start Cam Wire. And then at right tackle, what if Austin Deculus decides to not come back? Well, Cam Wire moves to right tackle. Then maybe you start Jason Hines. But then, what about Marcus Dummerville? I've heard that he's looked good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. You're right, Eric. Rajon and Corey have a relationship. They didn't go to the same high school. So we'll see. Let's see. John, thanks for your super chat. Any thoughts, news, or rumors on TJ staying or possibly leaving LSU? Would like for him to stay and compete. So obviously, the first thing is that you want TJ to stay. And our dream would be a successful Louisiana-born quarterback succeed at LSU. For some people, like myself, I like seeing Louisiana natives succeed. But, Joe Burrow's not from here. We loved him just the same. If TJ Finley feels his best opportunity is to go somewhere else, I'm still going to support him. He stepped in at a very difficult time for LSU. won us 2 games, didn't play well in 2 other games. Those games are against top 15 recruiters. So, it is what it is with TJ. I have no news or rumors regarding whether or not he should stay or go. I would lean towards him coming back and competing, which is obviously what we want him to do. But obviously, Garrett Nussmeier is going to be there. It's going to be a crowded quarterback room. You would feel better if TJ was a more mobile quarterback. He's not. He is Kyle Trask. He is, think any pocket quarterback, Byron Leftwich, whoever. He's not mobile. So that's part of it. But I do think something that's working against him is that he does go into this as the clear-cut number 3 back. So we'll see. Arik is going to go to the grave saying this. Garrett Nussmeier is going to win the starting job. That is a blazing hot take. But guess what? It is possible. Look, for you to be, and this is actually something that Tom Herman failed to do at Texas, okay? And this was ultimately his undoing. Tom Herman.
Is enough gumbo for dinner?
Oh, God, yeah, that's plenty.
Sure?
Yeah, that's all I need.
Fish for lunch tomorrow?
I'll just eat the fish for lunch. Yeah, that's plenty. The gumbo looks good, guys. I'm actually happy with the gumbo. Wait till y'all see this salmon steak. It's good, this tuna steak. But this was a big problem with Tom Herman, and I think he would like to reevaluate his time at Texas. Okay, Tom Herman stuck with Sam Ehlinger too long, and the funny thing about it is Sam Ehlinger was a really good quarterback at the Big 12 level. He was really, really, really good. Okay. But one thing he wasn't was exceptional, okay? Remember, every year at your school, this is not the NFL where you just have one guy. Rarely in the NFL does it go from Manning to Luck or Favre to Rodgers, where you go from one all-time great to another all-time great. It doesn't happen. But in college, it actually does happen a lot. We saw it this year. Went from Tua to Mac Jones, and they were both in the same recruiting class. So what Tom Herman failed to do at Texas, his great offensive mind, he failed to give another quarterback a chance. Okay? Quarterbacks are so much more replaceable at the college level than any other level. More so in high school, more so than in the NFL, because you have so many of them. Okay? The biggest problem for LSU leading into this offseason is that they don't have clarity over who is the best quarterback. Because who is the best quarterback at LSU? We don't know. We simply do not know. Some of you might think Miles is the best. Well, his 3 games were the 3 easiest games on the schedule. Some people think Max is the best. It was 2 starts at the end of the year. One of them was exceptional against Florida. The other one was really good against Ole Miss. So that's the thing about Garrett Nussmeier, is that it does look like he's so far behind in this quarterback race, but it's not as if he is going into a situation where Trevor Lawrence is your quarterback, Joe Burrow is your quarterback, Deshaun. There's not an all-time great coming back to play quarterback at LSU. And that's something else is key. There's some kind of crazy language that, I'm not going to lie, when that comment came down with all these numbers, my computer just kind of flashed. The Illuminati is coming after me. I'm dead serious. It was kind of scary. It could just be that whatever that hieroglyphics was, it could just be, someone trying to take my soul. I don't know. Maybe it's Tom Herman's burner account. Is that Greek or Russian? I don't know. I know, Jared. And here's the thing. My point is that Garrett Nussmeier is a really good prospect. I don't think when I watched him, I don't think that I was watching something transcendent, but obviously a lot of high school quarterbacks are not transcendent at the high school level. Do y'all not see this comment right here? Did it not show up? Is it just, it's a bunch of numbers and letters. Did y'all see this? It's kind of crazy. Let me see. No, it did not pop up on here. Hold on. Let me see. It did not pop up. Are you kidding me? That is so freaky. I'm looking at the actual feed. Oh my God, this is scary. This is, I promise you, this is what I'm looking at. And it's in Russian language. This is somebody trying to hack me right now. That is what, I promise you, that is what just popped up on my chat. Look at this. That, I promise you, that is verbatim. Okay, so Lewis, you saw it? It's Bama. It didn't show. So Lewis saw it. Seeing ghosts. So Lewis, you saw it? Screenshot it and send it and email it to me. So Elias sees it. I don't see it on mine. Dude, the Russians are coming. They are coming. Dude, they some of you guys see this. My girlfriend's not paying attention. It's dude, who do y'all think that is? Is that Les Miles's Russian burner account? Okay, Lewis, screenshot it. Do you know how to do that? Okay, so Deb, y'all see it. It's not Bug. Bug is, oh my God. Now something, an Adobe Flash player. What the heck is this? This is wild. Oh my goodness. Ivan Drago. Elias says 817. I saw it. He put PM as well. And then Maxim Selmick, who has yet to comment this entire video, is just like, it doesn't even mean anything. Someone just put random letters. A glitch in the matrix. Austin, our resident Manchester United fan. All right, guys, we do this every live stream. Where are you guys watching from? About time, Max. Max, you missed it. There's somebody. John, I appreciate that love, man. It didn't pop up on, it popped up on mine. Maxim. Lawrence is from Lutcher, home of the Jarvis Landrys. Birmingham, the 504's in here. Orange, Texas. Kevin, you speak Greek? That's cool, man. Greek is actually my favorite type of food. San Diego. Oilfield is on the rig right now. That's cool. No, I'm just kidding. Offshore. Alexandria, Charleston, South Carolina, the DMV, LR, Jersey made, PA paid, BR, Ponchatoula. No wonder why Mo Funky's a big TJ guy. North Atlanta, Tuscaloosa, Slidell, Chattanooga, and OT12. I wasn't making an oil field joke. I'm dead serious. I know so many oil field workers. South Arkansas is where I grew up, is a huge, huge oil town. If you look up the history of El Dorado, Arkansas, it is legit, an oil town. So I know a lot about, or I have a lot of friends that work in the oil fields, and dude, it is work. It is work. San Antonio by way of the 504, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Kirk is from the USSR. That's cool. Rockaway, New York. Bucktown, Chattanooga, home of the Comedy Catch, one of the best comedy clubs in the country. Katy, Texas. I've done the Comedy Catch once, I think. Lewis just sent me an email. Russian Snapchat. Let's see what it says. Yeah, Lewis saw it. Okay, that's good. Brian holding it down with James in Arkansas. I like that. Anyone know where Tony is tonight? We haven't seen Tony. Hattiesburg, Crazy Horse Cabaret. I like that. Hattiesburg's got them honeys. Well, if you got a man named Titus, if your name is Titus, that means you are pulling the ladies. Max, you didn't miss anything. You missed a Russian attack. You missed. Okay. She's almost done with the tune. Baby, they want to see Big. She has her earphones in. Cleveland, Tennessee. I didn't know that there was a Cleveland, Tennessee. JJ, are you in the emergency room tonight, man? JJ is one of our hospital workers I watch. We got a lot of veterans and we got a lot of nurses, which is really cool. Dwayne, I appreciate you, man. Are you related to Perry Riley? Perry Riley, you got to be a diehard LSU fan to remember Perry Riley. Maxim, I hope so too. You got a super cool name. Let's see. Got a lot of Aiden, Nashville. Romeo's not been in here tonight. That's very interesting. We've seen Carvis. Ulysses hasn't been in here. Who else? Murphy Wall headquarters. Exactly. Aiden, I appreciate you, man. How did your finals turn out? I did get a few questions how Aiden's finals turned out. If they weren't A's, look, we only take A. I'm kidding. Perry Riley out of Shaw. How about that? Yeah, Perry Riley was a monster. Played in the NFL a long time, too. Yeah, Carbis was in here earlier. Oh, he's doing great. He and I got in a long debate over Dave Aranda. Carbis isn't a big Dave Aranda guy. No way, Aiden. Got A's on all of them. How about that? Congrats to you, Aiden. There you go. And I remember when you checked in, and the last time Aiden checked in, he said, guys, I can't stay that long. I got finals to study for. Braden, about time, dude. What's up, bruh? So it's great, man. That's good. Looks like the tuna steaks are almost ready. So, guys, it's been fun. It's been really fun. I'll hang out for a little bit longer. So it all comes down to super chats. If you want to keep hanging out, Markets' super chat is still up there. But if you want to support the channel, Venmo's wide open, Cash App's wide open. Also, the super chat is wide open. Oh, JJ, you're in the ER right now. So I hope you're enjoying this on your break. I really do. Let me tell her to I'll bring Booger down here. We're definitely going to get Booger back in here. Plum, we'll see you, man. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I did say to Marcus's initial super chat, NFC wildcard weekend, is anybody worried that the Saints, Kirk, that's a good point. Perry Riley, Chick-fil-A Bowl MVP. Totally forgot. I mean, Perry was a monster, man. That linebacker core was Kelvin Shepard, Perry Riley, and Jacob Kutrera. Y'all remember that? That was a nasty core. Good job, Max. How much money we paying Freeman and the OCs? 10 millions at least. That's a good question. So, I'm not good at guessing contract numbers, but I would be hard pressed to believe that Marcus Freeman doesn't get north of 1.5 million. He gets 600,000 now. You have to factor in that Texas wants him, Notre Dame wants him, Auburn wants him. All those schools would give him $1 million. So, it's tough. Wait, what did Christopher say? Oh, Christopher, man. Yeah, thoughts out to you, man. My Aunt Debbie has. Oh man, yeah, dude. This is serious stuff. Where be safe, wear a mask, stay socially distant. I wish you the best, man, for real. Not to mention Freeman has 6 kids. That's true. So, obviously family's a big deal to him. I have family in Shreveport, Louisiana by marriage. That's cool, man. And thanks for subscribing to the channel, Chris. I appreciate you. Let's go to Marcus here. If I'd expect a Freeman 2.2, that wouldn't shock me if he goes north of 2 because, it then also becomes one of those things. Well, if you view me as Dave Aranda and I know that you paid the guy last year 2.3, that's the problem. If Marcus Freeman wants to be the head coach and you really want him to be your defensive coordinator, and he was the best defensive coordinator in college football last year, and Bo Pelini was the worst, why would Marcus Freeman take this LSU job for less money than what they were paying Bo Pelini when Texas will sign him a blank check? And that's a good point too, Alan. Once again, Chris, thanks for subscribing. Let's see. Well, that's a good thing. If you actually watch Cincinnati's defense, it is very multiple. And I know we use that word a lot, but they throw so many different looks. Can you please do your show on Wednesday, March 10th this year? My mom and dad are nurses. Yeah, just keep March 10th. Okay, yeah, just remind me. I'll do a show whenever. Let's see. Max, what is that? What does that have to do with anything? They play with the nose, but no reason. Yeah, I think he could. I think he could compromise some on that. Oh, your birthday's on March 10, 22? Oh, I thought, okay. March 10th. Ali Gay is, I don't know. Yes, Ali Gay is back. Is Ali Gay cooling? Max, are you okay? I'm interested. What's going on here with Max? We've gotten everything. Is Ali Gay coming back? Yes, he is coming back. That comment started interesting. Yes, he is coming back. This is hey, you know what's interesting, and the YouTube chat. If you've never done it, it could be a little complicated. I'll put it that way. But anyway, but what about that profit, Marcus? It's not the same profit as it once was it? And that's the thing, these boosters find money. There's no way Texas, just out of nowhere, while these schools plead, oh, we don't have money. And they do have a point. They don't have the same amount of revenue as they once did. Max, pass some of that good. Oh yeah, them boosters will cost it up. Do any of I know one LSU booster. How many of you know an LSU booster? Because I know we use that word a lot, but how many of you actually know an LSU booster? I used to work for one. That's how I know them. But how many of you know a booster? What's up, James? Preston, he's going to get his opportunity. I'll tell you that. You don't sign Mason Smith and not play him in the first year. He's a real deal player. There's obviously some things that I don't think So obviously this comes down to Ed Orgeron's decision, but it also is a Tommy Moffitt decision. I don't think that they want Mason Smith at what is he now? 340, 330? I don't think that they want him there. So I think they're going to change his body a little bit. And he's not out of shape. If you actually watch him, he's not sloppy at all. You can tell if a player's he's not out of shape. That's not what I'm saying. They might change his body up just a little bit, and we'll see. But, Mason Smith's a monster. There's no other way around it. He's really freaking good at football. And I know he's a 5-star. It's easy to say that. But, it's something else. Mason Smith played a lot of 5 technique. So what a 5 technique is actually a technique that you play in a 3-4 where you're head up on the offensive tackle. He also plays a lot of 6 tech. He'll play some 4-eye, 4. We can get into the technicalities and all of that, but he's just a beast. Thank you, JJ. I appreciate you, my man. And thank you for all the hard work you're doing in those hospitals. I hope this is an escape for you. And DBU7 reports he's already lost weight. So, number one, based on all the interviews, he seems like he's got a really good work ethic. But it comes down, there's the initial thing where all the cameras are around and they see you if you're working hard. But once you move into your new dorm or you move into your new apartment, you're on your own. You're not able to go to, your neighborhood facility and work out with your personal coaches every day. And I had an LSU player because I used to live in WCA, and that was where I learned a lot talking to players. And they always told me that, and I knew a player who even admitted to this, he didn't work hard enough and he ended up transferring. And, so much of who you are as a college player comes down to how hard you want to work when you get to the actual college. Well, Julie would certainly know. 305, he's going to be a monster. If he's at 305, he's going to be a monster. He's going to be an absolute monster. So it's interesting because he played a lot of also just defensive end. They lined him up everywhere. And obviously, your pad levels got to get better, fired off high a lot, which makes sense because he can beat every offensive lineman. So all those things will get worked on. It is kind of interesting. We're still waiting to see who the defensive line coach is going to be. If you can get Carl Dunbar, get Bo Davis, someone like that, that would be very, very good for Mason's development. There's Carvis. Kane, you want all the tea on that LSU booster? I'll tell you this. This LSU booster was by far the best boss I've ever had. By far. Okay? Nobody comes close to this guy. And I wish him nothing but the best. And he's got some stacks, I'll tell you that. So, Marcus, your super chat's still up there. Let's see. Mason at 6'5", 315, 310, 3, and this dude's just going to be freaking ridiculous. I really think he's going to be special. I really do. I think he makes all SEC his second year. I think he plays some this first year, and then hopefully by year 3 he's all American. Julie's good. She's a really good reporter. Let's see. And I know those guys at Tiger Details. Jarrett, I went to school with Jarrett. Let's see. Buffalo. I'm going to go Buffalo in a blowout. The Seahawks are 4-point favorites over the Rams. Ooh, I like the Rams in that. But the Rams are playing, what's his name at quarterback now? Debbie, you want Booger? Okay, Haley's getting her down. The tuna steak is currently sizzling. How many snaps does Mason get a game? That's a good question, Max. I think 15's a good number starting off slow. hopefully 30 to 40. That's normally a good number for a defensive lineman. That's the thing. That's the point, Devin. So Marcus wanted to chat NFL division. When you drop $100, we are definitely going to talk about that. Buffalo in a blowout. Seahawks. I'll go with the Seahawks now. Even though I'm not going to lie, I hate Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll's not a good NFL coach, the most overrated coach in the league. And I think Sean McVay's going to out-scheme him. I really do. I think there's some value with the Rams. Look, Tyler Lockett regressed. Jalen Ramsey has shut our boy DK Metcalf down. They match up really well. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks, but I'm going to go with the Rams to cover at 4. I also like the under there. Let's see. Bucks at Washington football team. And I'm not going to lie. I don't place a lot of NFL bets, but when I saw Tom Brady was 5th in passing yards and he got a $500K bonus if he finished in the top 5 in passing yards, I knew that he was going to throw for 400 yards, and his number was only at 307. So, Marcus, I know you're an NFL sharp. That was the only bet I've won in a long time. Because as many of you know, I bet the Texas A&M and UNC under, and because UNC can't tackle worth the crap, I lost that bet. So, Tampa Bay in a blowout. Ravens, Titans. Ravens are 3.5-point favorites at Tennessee. Who doesn't like Tennessee here? Obviously, a complete flip from last year where we had Tennessee as an underdog in Baltimore. Now, Baltimore's going to Nashville, and Baltimore's favored by 3.5. First thing about this game, our boy Patrick Queen better have his chin strap buckled up because Derrick Henry's going to bring that wood. My biggest scare is that Patrick Queen, who I own all of his Mosaic rookie cards now. Okay, I'm a Patrick Queen addict, and I know I gave a lot of them out earlier this year. But, man, my biggest fear, guys, I really do mean this, because Patrick Queen's one of my favorite LSU players. He's from near New Roads, so can't believe the Saints passed on Patrick Queen. Well, they ended up getting Quan Alexander, okay, and I like Quan a lot too. So anyway, my biggest fear in the NFL is Patrick Queen getting stiff-armed by Derrick Henry. That scares the bejesus out of me. So I'm going to go Tennessee. I think Tennessee takes care of business at home, even though, like someone mentioned, their defense is garbage. Let's see. Bears and Saints. Saints are up to 9.5-point favorites. So what I want to do is I want to pull up this tweet really quickly. Okay. And this tweet legit gives me nightmares. All right. I want you to tell me, what do all Braden's a big New Roads guy. That's why Matthew Langlois is my homie. I hope he turns out. Can I say something, though? I'm so pissed that this Jordan, and I notice one thing I've done in this live stream. I've not brought up Jordan Gilbert. I've not brought up Tristan Lee, because I know those two things would fire you up, especially that we know both of them signed in the early signing period, and they were allegedly still being recruited by the LSU staff because they didn't know that they signed during the early period, which is obviously really shady. And it's also funny that Jordan Gilbert ended up saying the University of A&M. It's funny. But anyway, before we get to the Saints thing, tell me, what do all of these things have in common? Rex Grossman, Matt Hasselbeck, Alex Smith, Russell Wilson, Case Keenum, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins. What do all of those quarterbacks have in common? Can someone answer this for me? Marlon Favorite. Rex Grossman, Matt Hasselbeck. Marlon Favorite won a Super Bowl ring, I think, with the Saints. as a practice squad player. Music said shortstops. If you weren't a diehard NFL fan, you might guess shortstops. Once again, I'll list this quarterback list. Max says hot wives. Is that true? I don't know. I know Case Keenum is married to Sam Ponder, who's beautiful. Maybe they have beautiful. I'm guessing they have beautiful wives or quarterbacks, for goodness sakes. Okay, so Case Keenum's married to Sam Ponder, and Russell Wilson's married to Sierra. Alex Smith, actually, okay, you are right about Alex Smith. They probably do have all beautiful wives. Okay, Nathan, of course, they're all quarterbacks. Okay, I think Carvis actually got this right. And Mikey gets it right as well. Once again, these are the list of quarterbacks that have beaten the Saints in the playoffs since for 2006 to 2019 via my friend Evan Sachs, Rex Grossman, Matt Hasselbeck, Alex Smith, Russell Wilson, Case Keenum, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins. They've all eliminated the Saints. They all played in the Big Ten. Wait, are these all Big Ten quarterbacks? No. Grossman went to Florida. Alex Smith went to Utah. And Case Keenum went to Florida State. Jared Goff. Okay, so no. But they all beat the Saints. That's it. Yeah, I know, Max, but Debbie was just trying to guess the trivia question. But here's the thing. If Mitchell Trubisky beats us this weekend, and I know I say us, some of you are Cowboys fans, some of you are Vikings fans, some of you are whatever. All right, here she comes. All right. We'll do another booger signing if someone drops a $10 super chat right now. $10 super chat right now. Come on, let's do it. And the tuna steak is hot and ready to go. Is it ready? They want to see it. The tuna steak.
They want to see the damn steak.
They want to see the tuna steak. Is it Caesar? Let's go. Who wants to see the tuna steak? Would y'all rather see the tuna steak or Boog? You got to root for Tua. Tua is a bust. When Fitzmagic is the better option. Max, that's true. All right, come on.
I woke her up.
Oh, she was knocked out, ready to go sleeping. Come on, baby. Here she is. That's my first time holding her for the live stream. There you go. Big vet appointment tomorrow.
Don't talk about it, Carter.
I know. But thank you, Marcus, for your look. His $100 super chat is still up there.
Oh, it's so nice. Mama's baby.
All right, there you go, Braden. Venmo is always open too. Boog wears number 7. We need to get Boog a number 7 jersey. I know, Marcus, and that's the scary thing. No Alvin Kamara, no Michael Thomas. Marcus, thank you for supporting Booger's next dose of Azadil.
Cool that vet bill.
Mitch has nothing to lose. Yeah, the scary thing about it is that we all know Mitch is going to go for like 303 TDs. Dude, they have Allen freaking Robinson. Debbie's actually a huge Boog fan.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy, DBU7?
Baby.
Not only did they have that, they also had that offensive line.
Here, she likes it better when I hold her.
Go ahead.
Come here, baby.
Thomas is back, but Marcus is just pointing out that he's going to be a little rusty. So there we go. So are we all going with the Saints? Is there some brave soul out there that wants to pick the Bears? All right, let's go through it again. Okay, but here's the problem. Normally we do Saturday chats. All you guys are going to be watching the NFL playoffs. Do y'all want to do a Saturday live chat?
No. She's shaking, baby.
She wants to go? Yeah, that's fine.
Get back. Mom's going to eat dinner.
Booger's ready to eat dinner. Well, Green Bay's not playing the Saints this weekend.
What you doing, Mama?
Marcus will be working. Carvis, you want to do a Saturday? Okay, before we get to the NFL picks, who would like to do a Saturday chat? Okay. Jared.
Come here, Mama.
I need to, because normally we do Tuesday and Saturday. I don't think I have anything booked on Friday. Brady, you want to do on Saturday? Let's see.
Ask the people.
Well, a lot of people say they're working on Saturday. Who works on a Saturday? Oh, it wasn't Kane. Deb, you want to do it Saturday? Braden will be in the deer stand. Not the deer. Eric's down. Well, Marcus, yeah, you're always working, man. You're working hard, baby. Freedom ain't free. I like that. Dwayne was the one showing some love. I'm actually happy that someone did pick the Bears, because if all of you were unanimous Saints, I would be so nervous. James wants to see the tuna steak so bad. Okay. Now, I will say James does live in Arkansas, and there are a lack of food options here. You don't get to see high-end cuisine like this all that often. I know, that's what I'm saying. The best chef in Arkansas is right here. Her dad, my mom, and her are the best chefs in Arkansas. Legit, when I used to get invited to my friends to go eat, I would bring a bottle of Louisiana hot sauce in my pocket. I promise you. I promise you.
Not anymore.
I know when the Murphys, I remember the Murphys, dude, they would invite me and they would be serving up some bland chicken. And I'm like, God, you Arkansans, season your food. You see, James is from Louisiana, but he lives in Arkansas. He just appreciates.
Louisiana, baby.
So Saturday we'll do it. We'll do a chat. Why not? So before the tuna steak is plattered, plattered.
That sounds stupid.
No, this is a 5-course meal, and you platter the food. Is that not the right term? You platter.
Plate the food, you idiot.
No, you platter it.
You plate it, sweetie.
No, you platter the food.
How many times have you plattered the food? Here.
Oh.
We've got to go to bed early.
Oh, yeah, we got the booger appointment in the morning, so I do got to sign off. Here it is, guys. Look at that. Look at that piece
you're gonna make it fall on your computer screen.
That's fine. That is.
Well, it's not yours.
I'm not getting any. So once again, when we hit 3,000 subscribers, I'm not only giving out one of these, I'm giving out 2. And on top of that, we will be giving out an autograph card from a key member from the. Oh, you left my drink in the freezer? It's good. I'm telling you, guys. And you can get a bag of these for $7, and there's like 4 of them.
They're great.
There's 4 in a bag, so you get 4. There's 5 in a bag, and you get that for $7. You see, I normally eat 2. She eats 1. All right, let's pick this last NFL playoff game: Steelers versus Browns. Okay. I'm going to roll with the Steelers because I don't have Kevin Stefanski.
I'm going with the Browns.
Going with the Browns, Baker Mayfield.
He sucks, though.
She said he sucks.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
Don't say what like what.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
Cowboys. Not. Browns in an upset. I like it. So I'm going Bills, Seahawks, Tampa Bay on the road. I'm going Tennessee, Saints. Forget it. I'm going with the Browns.
Playing the Saints? I thought you just said the Browns are playing the Saints.
No, the Browns, they're in the no.
Who?
The Bears are playing the Saints.
You know, I always get them confused.
Oh, yeah. How do you get the Bears and the Browns? Well, they both drafted overrated quarterbacks, but they both have talented head coaches with great wide receivers. So they are very
Who's
similar.
my favorite head coach?
Favorite head coach is Mike Tomlin. No. Your favorite head coach is Andy Reid.
I hate him.
Jared, thanks for the late super chat.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Jared. What would you like to talk about? Lombardi for Drew. Let's go, Drew. Let's go, Drew. Drew Brees. Oh, my God. No, Drew Pearson. Dr. Drew.
Are you ready for me to warm yours up or no?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Well,
Put a 4-minute spot. Who heats their gumbo up in the microwave?
Well, you are tonight.
I am tonight.
So,
I'm telling you.
You know what?
Because we have to wait for the Heisman. Shout out to DeVonta.
Come on.
You know what, Brandon? I think the Super Bowl will be the Bills and the Packers. I do.
What?
I do. I think it's going to be the Bills and the Packers. Jared Allen has looked more like Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes has looked like Patrick Mahomes in this last month. I mean, Jared Allen's been doing some stupid things on the football field. And that'd be a Super Bowl for our boy Trey White.
I think the Cowboys will be in the Super Bowl.
And it would give an honorary ring to Kyle Williams because he would be there. He's been there for 50 years.
Here, babe. I'm not gonna put the coos on it because it needs to de-thaw, but it's slushy. It's good.
We got a slushy. Ooh, that's good.
Right?
I love these seltzers.
I didn't know January was dry January or whatever it's called.
Oh, dry January where you're not supposed to drink?
Well, we're going to start Monday.
She said we're going to start Monday. This booger appointment has been stressful on us. I'm so ready for tomorrow to be over with. That's a good question, Eric. The Saints quarterback next year. Okay, y'all want a hot take? It's going to be Kyle Trask. Kidding. I think Louisiana would lose 10 freaking years off their lives if Kyle Trask was the Saints' first pick. I know it's not. It's seared on a skillet.
Everybody to say a prayer for Booger tomorrow.
So everyone, if you are the praying type, please pray for Booger's appointment tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be big. I know we're normally joking and fun with Booger, but it is a big appointment for our dear beloved Booger. Devin says Boog will be great. James showing some love from Arkansas, of course. James.
Oh, I thought
James is in Little Rock.
Oh, nice.
Brandon, this is the second time you've brought up the Saints trading for Aaron Rodgers. What? I mean, it's Brandon, I love you, but this is the second time. Okay? What? Eric's a dog person. Eric and Debbie are like Eric out for tomorrow. Carl the cat, I appreciate you. But guys, thank you so much for this fun live chat. You can always email me. Of course, I always respond to your comments. And yeah, my Twitter is Carter the Power. So if you want to follow me there, please do. No Carson Wentz, please no. Turnover machine. I think Sean Payton would rip out Carson Wentz trachea after like 2 games. I mean, the Carson Wentz turnovers are just stupendous. But Marcus, thanks again. Marcus was our number 1 super chatter. Round of applause for you, Marcus. Thank you so much for always supporting the channel with your bucks. But more important, your comments. Really, your comments are really good. But also your bucks. It really does help out. And to everyone that super chatted, Max and everybody, I really do appreciate you. And we'll talk to you soon. We will, I would say 75 to 80% chance we're going to do a live stream on Saturday. It would be around the 5, 6, 7 range. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully I can get a video out tomorrow, but obviously we have to book appointments. So my Venmo,
Supersedes everything.
which supersedes everything. Bug is number 1. So Venmo, Cash App, Carter the Power, if you want to donate to the channel. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. Tuna steaks gumbo. Let's go. Wait, hold on. Riley, thank you for the Cash App there at the end. I appreciate that. Riley and Dwayne, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, we will talk to you soon. It's Power Hour LSU. Boom.